Time now for business news with Yuka Royer. Good to see you, Yuka. First, the French President Emmanuel Macron has travelled to the north of the country this morning to showcase the country's shift towards greener cars.
Well, the president hailed efforts being made in the right direction, where he visited a Renault factory in Douai. He said that this, as the French automaker has confirmed, it has signed two major deals on electric car batteries. One is with Envision, a Chinese firm part-owned by Nissan, Renault's alliance partner, that's set to build a battery factory there. It will be the second gigafactory for EV batteries in France after another plant planned by rival automaker Stellantis and energy giant Total. Another deal is with the French startup Verco to co-develop high-performance batteries. Renault says that the two deals will create 4,500 jobs here in France.
Now, Yuka, President Macron is also keen to promote France as a top investment destination, not just on the industrial front, but in other sectors, including finance, and he will be meeting CEOs later on today.
That's right. Well, particularly with a particular focus on finance, in the financial sector. And as you said, President Macron will be hosting more than 100 top business executives at the Palace of Versailles later on this Tuesday. This is France is vying to become the next financial hub after thousands of firms relocate to continental Europe from London following Brexit. Camille Nedelec reports.
That is true.
Famous as a city of romance, French President Emmanuel Macron wants to transform Paris into a hotspot for foreign investment. Macron is hosting another edition of his Choose France summit on Monday, which had been held remotely last year due to the pandemic. France is pushing hard to draw companies fleeing Brexit, with a 2-year, €100 billion plan called France Relance to cut business taxes and invest in renewable energy projects.
We are very much committed to a strategy based on attractiveness and modernization of the country.
It's a strategy that appears to be working. Since Brexit, an estimated 7,500 financial jobs and over €1 trillion in assets have moved from London to the EU, with Paris capturing a big chunk of those gains, including, not far from the Louvre, the opening of JP Morgan's new trading hub slated for this week. Earlier this month, a report by Ernst & Young ranked France as the most attractive destination in Europe for foreign investment for the second year running, overtaking both Britain and Germany.
Nous avons réussi l'exploit de maintenir notre première place. Et dans cette période de pandémie, ça n'était pas simple. Je rappelle qu'il y a quelques années, la Grande-Bretagne était loin devant nous. Nous avons réussi à conserver notre première place.
The European bloc as a whole is also looking attractive, with 40% of businesses planning to expand operations in Europe this year.
Let's check in on the day's trading action now. Global shares retreated at the start of the week after a rally on Wall Street in last week's sessions. Here in Europe, London's FTSE and Paris's CAC 40 both are down by more than 0.5% at midday. Frankfurt's DAX performing slightly better, but still in negative territory. Meanwhile, Britain's financial regulator has banned Binance, one of the world's largest digital currency exchanges. The Financial Conduct Authority has ruled that the firm cannot undertake any regulated activity in Britain and cautioned consumers against investing in cryptocurrencies. In a statement, the FCA said, "Be wary of adverts promising high returns on investments in crypto products, reminding people that investors can't access the public compensation scheme if things go wrong." Moving on to some other business news now, and the head of Burberry is leaving the British trench coat maker after more than 4 years as CEO. Marco Gobbetti will move to rival luxury fashion group Ferragamo in his native Italy. The Italian businessman has helped turn around the brand's fortunes and increase its market value. Burberry's shares dropped 6% in early trading this Monday following the news, as it begins to look for his successor. China has turned on the world's second largest hydroelectric power station in the country's southwest, just ahead of the Communist Party's 100th anniversary celebrations. The 300-metre-tall Baihentan Dam, situated on the border between Sichuan and Yunnan provinces, will have a capacity to generate 22.5 million kilowatts once totally operational. That will make it the world's second largest after the Three Gorges Dam, also in China. The government has been turning to hydropower to reduce its reliance on coal, although dams are falling out of favour in other countries due to environmental concerns.
Impressive structure there, Yuka. Now, tuk-tuk drivers in Thailand have found an unlikely savior. They've struggled to make ends meet under coronavirus restrictions, but things are changing.
Well, a little bit, at least.
Fingers crossed.
Like in many countries relying on tourism, Thailand's tuk-tuk drivers have seen their source of income evaporate because of the pandemic. But now, K-pop fans have come to their rescue, turning the iconic minicars into mobile billboards for Korean stars. Camille Nedalek has the story.
These tuk-tuks are the tourist taxi in Bangkok. And so when the pandemic hit, drivers saw their source of income dry up overnight. They say they haven't had help from the government. But now there's light at the end of the tunnel, thanks to an unlikely saviour. K-pop fans, who've started paying drivers to display posters of their favourite idols.
ก่อนที่น้องๆจะมาติดป้ายกับเราเนี่ยมันโควิดรอบแรก มันจะหาเงินแย่มาก วันหนึ่งนี่ได้แค่100 กว่าบาท
In 2018, tourism accounted for almost 100 billion euros of GDP, about 1/5 of total economic activity. But in 2020, when tourism disappeared, Thailand's GDP fell by 6.1%, and growth is still expected to be sluggish this year at less than 3%. Tourism workers have been reclassed as essential workers to try to get them vaccinated faster, but hopes of a rapid return to business as usual have been dashed, with only about 6% of the population fully vaccinated, and numbers of new coronavirus cases on the increase. Despite that, the government is pressing ahead with a plan to reopen Phuket to international tourists on the 1st of July, which it hopes will give the country's economy a much-needed boost.
Delano, tuk-tuks are not just for tourists, but for locals as well. It's very much a form of transport for local residents. But still, I mean, they relied really heavily on foreign tourists.
Thank you very much for that, Yuka. Yuka Roya there with the day's business news. More news coming up. Stay with us. This is France 24.